Our industrial revolution in the 21st century is the introduction of a digital landscape. A key vantage point in this landscape is social media. Creating both new challenges and opportunities, social media has radically changed the rules of advertising and marketing. People today demand a more honest and direct relationship with the companies with which they do business. Does it work? In Q1 of 2016, furniture retailer Made.com was able to track that people who came to its website from organic social media had an average order value 4% higher than the site average. Organisations and businesses now face a clear choice: wall themselves in and become increasingly controlled and hidden, or use social media to reveal a human side, welcome transparency, and engage in new relationships with their customers. During this presentation, I will present to you the 3 pillars we use at OneLine to ensure that our own social media and the strategies we create for clients provide return on investment. When clothing giant Gap tried to change their logo design in 2010, they faced a week-long backlash on social media from disgruntled customers. They quickly reverted back to their trusted brand image. Of course, understanding how to create the right impression for your brand may not be easy. Success comes from driving customer decision-making through emotion and shared values. Hi, I'm Helen Barlow. Following a 5-year career in the commercial design industry and inspired by 2 years in Asia working with fair traders, I believe that people, planet and profit are equal when it comes to building a robust business. And that's why I built OneLine differently. We're a team of 6 designers, developers and marketers, providing professional graphic design for branding and marketing. We pride ourselves on empowering our clients with beautiful design work and tangible brand strategies. CEO of the WFTO, Natalia Leal, says of our work, OneLine guided us to the next level of WFTO branding, one which better reflects our mission and values in our visual identity. In year 3 of the business, I trebled the profit at OneLine. How? By working with organisations who share our values and by implementing a strategic approach to digital marketing, which I'll share with you today. Today is, of course, just a flavour of the strategy. My apologies that I can't be with you in person as I'm currently unable to fly. So I ask if you would like more support, please do get in touch using the contact details shown. The first step in creating a robust approach to social media is to take the time to understand who it is you're communicating with and why. I've no doubt, given your experience, you've been party to numerous techniques for strategizing customer research and insights. At OneLine, we've streamlined what's worked for us and our clients to craft this following process. Pillar 1, Phase 1, is about identifying your audiences. Defining a list of who would be interested in your products and services can really help, and this can include new customers and clients, repeat customers, and of course don't forget about audiences who may not buy from you, but they will share and engage with your brand. A golden nugget here is to try and identify within this list who is your ideal customer, that one customer that you really aspire to secure. If you can create social media marketing that speaks to them, then the rest will follow. Phase 2 is about surveying, asking 10 questions to your audiences to help you try and determine what they care about, what motivates them, what challenges and fears do they face, and what do they like and dislike. Doing this is helping you try to discover if what you're offering is something that they want, need, or care about. And this will help you craft social media marketing messaging that is both true and meets their needs. It's important to try and think about garnering answers that will help you understand if you're solving a problem. Equally important is gaining an insight into understanding why audiences should care about your product or service. And another golden nugget is with all this information, you should then look for commonalities in the answers, and it's with those that you can create a unified voice and materials which speak to and resonate with all of your audiences. Now you have all this insight and information, it can be really helpful if you don't have something like this already to use these insights to create customer personas. You may of course already have your own way of doing this. At One Line, our clients have found that using one or both of these approaches useful. The first approach shown here is a creative mood board, where we crafted a number of relevant questions for this client amble pincushion, and we used the information to come up with visual photographic representations of the people that they wanted to communicate with. Around this visual representation is then the key points that they then use to create their own marketing messages with. It could, however, be something completely different, and this is the second approach that some of our other clients prefer to use. This is a table of data that we collated and helped New Economy Law in London to use. These are really key questions that we were able to ask their audiences, and then within this table of data, they're all collated as a reference point. What New Economy Law now do is refer to this table of data when they're creating things like blog posts, articles for newsletters, and even the short posts that you might put on a Facebook post or a Twitter comment. Pillar 2 is all about brand wow. Organisations like yourselves have been doing this a long time, and I'm sure you'll appreciate how your brand strategy and identity are crucial when it comes to impressing customers. For those of you with less experience in business or a little understanding of brand, brand strategy is at its most basic a core set of guidelines which define your mission, vision and values. Brand identity is then the visual elements which represent these messages and that you use to consistently present yourself to others. In turn, this means branding is how people perceive you, what they think and feel about you, and what will lead to them deciding whether or not to engage with you. Your brand is directly related to the type of customer you will attract, as evidenced by the Gap logo case study mentioned at the start. Social sales specialist Jim Keenan's firm reported to Forbes that 78.6% of salespeople surveyed using social media to sell outperformed brands who weren't using social media. In this pillar, I'll focus on how you as fair traders might impress online and how this will help to bring fair trade to a wider market by giving you a selection of social media techniques. Technique 1 is all about moving from the hard sell to the inspire me approach. In order to establish yourself as a credible option for your customer, you can use sites like Facebook and Twitter to socially interact with people. The most popular brands in social media tend to post less about their products and services and more about the things that help customers get to know the people and the personality of a company. Their goal is about engaging and inspiring, and as a result, through such engagement, people naturally feel more comfortable doing business with those companies. Jeff Swartz, who is the president and CEO of the Timberland Company, is a great example of this. He links from his Twitter bio to Timberland's Earthkeeper project, which supports environmental awareness, rather than linking to the company homepage. And this is in an effort to make a connection with people around something that goes far beyond the products that Timberland sell. Technique 2 is about moving away from feeling overwhelmed by having too much to do when it comes to social media to using techniques. And a great one here is influencer marketing. You probably know that word of mouth is one of the most valuable forms of marketing. It's been shown to influence 20 to 50% of all purchasing decisions. After all, we know that potential customers are much more likely to be receptive to recommendations from a person that they respect and trust. And in this new environment of digital relationships, word of mouth extends well beyond recommendations from friends and family into the realm of influencer marketing. When the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority launched their YouTube account, they hired an everyday YouTuber, DJ Khalid, for an account takeover that brought in more than 350,000 views in its first 2 days alone. In many cases, you can use influencer marketing to extend the reach of your brand messaging by working with and piggybacking on another organization's follower base. For example, in the UK hotelier market, leading brand Accor, who are responsible for the Mercure and the Ibis hotels, are currently working with fair traders to procure bathroom cosmetics. The wider fair trade sector could therefore think of this brand, Accor, as an influencer. And if you think that a hotel brand sources everything from these bathroom cosmetics through to linen, uniforms, teas and other foodstuffs, if they can procure one product line as fair trade, why not others? So during holiday season, targeting a specific segment of the Accor fan base via social could be a great way to drive demand for fair trade. Of course, we need to remember that there are best practices which should be followed when thinking about influencer marketing. It's important that there's a shared and mutual value for both you and the influencer, and that we take the time to build the relationships with our chosen influencers before expecting them to give us anything in return. The final technique in this pillar is from the who said that to the I know that guy approach. This technique is about understanding what it means to be brand consistent and cohesive on social media. Social media is a platform where you as fair traders can truly share your creativity and what makes you different in order to help you stand out in the ethical and social media noise. Here's what not to do. Don't have several social media accounts in disarray by having cover images that don't connect in terms of how they look or not featuring a core logo identity on each of your platforms. If your taglines, your graphics and informational media all look like they are coming from different people, then the overall effect is that your audience are going to think this as well. They'll think that these accounts are associated with separate entities, and confusion will drive them away. So let's have a look at some good examples. At Google, their design and graphics all work in unison across the platforms. Their concept playfully features all of the products and services that Google offer. We'd like to ask you to get involved on Twitter using the hashtag DelhiConference and tag us at OneLine Studio and tell us how many of Google's products and services that you can identify within their illustrations. So it'd be great if you can join us and do that. You'll also notice with Google that their logo acts as an identifier throughout all of the platforms. And on LinkedIn, they follow a more corporate style, which of course makes sense if they're catering to a B2B, business-to-business audience. They showcase on LinkedIn a snapshot of their Mountain View headquarters, which gives fans an inside look into what Google employees are seeing every day, and even the company decor is branded. The next example is Target. And that's Target in Australia. Now, I don't want to say that they've completely taken over the colour red, but it looks like they've got a little bit close. On Facebook, they're using consumer products here to resonate with the type of audience that's on Facebook and those that have a desire to shop. We find that people on Facebook are very receptive when it comes to online sales, so this is a great place to showcase products. On something like Twitter, they've used colour and shapes in the cover image, and it's a bit more chic because the audience on Twitter is a bit more varied, but you do often find quite a young millennial audience on there, and that really targets them. And again, on LinkedIn, they've gone for the B2B approach, which is a very professional, minimal designed cover ad. So the top takeaways that we can think about when looking at both of those examples are that when we're talking about being brand consistent and brand cohesive, we're not necessarily talking about everything having to be exactly the same. It's more about a uniform approach to colour combinations, and you can do this simply by changing the settings, customising the settings, or of course you can create customised backgrounds and graphics. But be careful when you're doing this to consider what works for the different audiences. The next level when it comes to this sort of consistency and cohesiveness approach is also to apply the same principle to the wording that you use on social media. Now, if we get asked to come back and do another WFTO conference, we can take it to that next level and think about how you can be consistent and cohesive in your profile bio, for example, and also in the way that you might write posts or write blogs or write newsletter articles. And finally, we move on to pillar 3, and that's measure. Just as you would with any other marketing tool, it's really important, I'm sure you'll know, to ensure that all these efforts that you're putting into social media align with your overall business goals, and to therefore test and track your results to improve your performance. I will keep this bit short and sweet, as I've no doubt you already have your own way of recording and collating data for evaluation. If you have a look at this screenshot from the Insights section of Facebook, these are great tools, the built-in analytics, and we can personally see on our Facebook that these two types of content here are actually very similar content. Now, one of them was pushed out on a Sunday morning and reached 538 people, and the other one was pushed out on a weekday morning, but it only reached 53 people. Now, what this confirms is potentially what's a bit of common sense, that the people that we want to communicate with are far too busy working on weekday mornings to be spending time on social media. But it's important that it does genuinely validate for us that rather than waste time on content during those times in the week we know people are busy, we now actually have valid proof that it would be far better to schedule these personal types of posts for a Sunday morning. Social media's inbuilt analytics, along with some extra plugins, are really great at providing some invaluable information and insights to ensure that your social media marketing is robust. You can use these types of plugins to evaluate rather than taking an approach of posting and hoping for the best. And this will really help you to streamline what you're doing in terms of social media and focus on spending the time that you save by doing this on the things that you love doing the best in your business. So I'll leave you with these resources, which I think are great for helping build a social media marketing strategy. We have Demographics Pro for Twitter, which is, it basically gives you insights into the followers of your own Twitter accounts, other Twitter accounts, and people tweeting hashtags of interest. You also have the Facebook Pixel here, and that's something that you can have a developer input into your website. And what that allows you to do is to actually track the data of people coming from Facebook to your website and start to build your online audience, like a list or a record of your online audience from Facebook, which is great, and has a lot of demographics information there as well. We have Trend Spotter for Instagram. When we were talking about influencer marketing, what this plugin allows you to do is to find top trending photographs, videos, and influencers under any tag or topic. So you would select fair trade or maybe ethical clothing or ethical produce as the tag or topic, and you can see what's trending in that industry or campaign sector. And finally, there is a Twitter plugin called Follower Wonk, which again is a free tool, which makes it easy to find relevant influencers on Twitter. So the same kind of thing that you can find using TrendSpotter on Instagram, this one works for Twitter. A final golden nugget here is personality in your toolkit of resources and plugins. It might sound really obvious, but having a personal awareness is probably your best sales tool on social. For us and our clients, we found that something as simple as engaging and saying thank you to a tweet or comment really has led directly to more sales, and it's blown us away that something as simple as a thank you can lead directly to a sale like that. So with that in mind, thank you for listening, and if you would like to continue this conversation, please do join us on Twitter at OneLine Studio. We'd love to see you there and hear more about your businesses and what's happening at the conference. Thank you again. Bye bye.